Morning, Steve Freed with the morning grain comments. We have prices in the grains higher, led by beans and wheat. Outside markets are mixed. We're still waiting for some stimulus package. Any news on the vaccine as the virus's cases continue to rise here in the U.S. We have a USDA report today, so 11 o'clock we'll be a lot smarter, or at least a little smarter than we are now. We're not expecting a lot of changes, and then we get the U.S. export sales report today and see if we continue to see wheat and bean sales a little bit lower than what we'd like to see, and if corn sales continue to be relatively brisk. As far as the market is concerned, I think we're looking for just minor drops in U.S. corn, soybean carryouts, and maybe unchanged in the wheat, and look for bigger changes possibly in January if, number one, China continues to be a buyer, especially U.S. corn and beans, and if South American weather is in general drier than normal, and if the funds want to add back to some of the positions they took off from the November highs. We do think in January there's a chance the USDA could raise U.S. corn and soybean export numbers, lower the carryout to numbers. That would suggest that beans need to trade back over $12, and that corn can take out at recent highs and maybe test $4.50. Higher corn prices might support wheat prices over the $6 level in nearby Chicago. As far as the numbers go, as far as export sales, looking to 400 to 800,000 tons of beans, in the corn maybe 700 to 1.5 million tons, and in the wheat 200 to 500,000 tons. We do note that since 2000 there's been 3 rallies in the soybean market. 2001 we went from 450 to 2004 1064. The peak lasts 3 months. 2006 we went to 525 to 1660 in 2008, and the peak lasted a month. In 2010 we went from 925 to 1790 in 2012, and the peak lasted 3 months. For corn, 2 rallies. 2006 we started at 220, went to 760 in 2008, and had the peak last a month. In 2010 we went from 325 to 840 in 2012. The peak lasted a month. We've had 3 rallies in wheat. 07 to 08 went from $4.10 to $13. 2012 we went from 425 to 890 in 2011, and also 2012 we went from 590 to 947, and the peak in all 3 years lasted a month. So we are hoping that in January that we see lower U.S. ending stocks, maybe a little bit of problems in South American weather, and the funds come back and add to their long positions. Some people think that if we have a smaller Brazil crop, maybe down to 126 million tons, beans could breach the $12 area, which will probably drag corn and wheat prices with it. Again, the outside market's mixed, waiting for anything news as far as the vaccine versus increased virus cases, anything as far as this new stimulus package and the transition between the old administration and the new administration. The fact that they might appoint Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack is probably a good thing for U.S. agriculture, and hopefully for U.S. and China relations. As always, these are my thoughts, not those of ADM Investor Services. Have a safe and profitable trading day, and remember, always treat people like you yourself would like to be treated.